Welcome. Welcome to our paper mosaic workshop. We are going to be doing 5 sessions on how to create your own personal paper mosaic. My name is Gail Jones, and I am a ceramic artist / fiber artist. And I use my ceramics in a way that I sort of treat my fabrics. And I get lots of wonderful textures and lots of wonderful designs. And that's how I'm going to demonstrate and show you in our sessions that we are going to be together with. Here are some samples of some of the motifs and ways that we are going to be utilizing paper to make a paper mosaic. A mosaic is using decoration on a surface to create, whether it's a pictorial, like this one here. You see I use newspaper, just regular brown paper, and a focal point or bird. Using ordinary supplies to make some very non-ordinary pieces of work. So we're going to go in session 1, we're going to be talking about supplies that we're going to need throughout all 5 of our sessions. And we are going to be working today, especially on creating our own paper, coloring it, making it our own, giving it part of ourselves. Most important, we're going to need a substrate. Wonderful mat scraps. You can go to a framing shop and ask kindly if you can purchase some of their mat scraps. Cardboard, something stiff, cardstock. Cardstock works well, but not as well as this because it won't curl when we put the glue on it. So that's our substrate. Various papers. This is construction paper. But as I said before, I colored it to make it a little bit more interesting. Watercolor paper colored. Just regular copy paper. Scrapbook paper. And newsprint works well, as you can see in this piece, how interesting newspaper can be. Tape, and I like using painter's tape because it releases without marring and harming and ripping your papers. Scissors, hole punch. This is just a regular round hole punch, but I know that there's nifty different ones out there with different shapes when you punch, that you get all kinds of wonderful shapes. Glue. I learned this trick from my friend Jess, where you put sponges in a container and then pour the glue on top, and then you can just press in and a little dab of glue will happen without a lot of mess. But those that don't want to have that set aside, just a regular nice, I like to use tacky glue because it dries quickly. Paints. Today we're going to be using these wonderful pourable acrylics, various colors that fit your palette. Yogurt cups, I just love using them. A tray, because we're going to need a tray to dip on. Throughout our workshop, we're going to be using toothpicks and skewers. They come in handy for all kinds of things, especially little teeny pieces of paper when you want to just get the glue just right. Newspaper to protect our work surface. Or if you have plastic or an old sheet, that works well as well. So we're going to put our supplies aside. And we're going to get to some fun. Put these aside so they don't get marred. I'm going to take you on a journey of coloring our paper. Watercolor paper, and any white paper will do. This is good old copy paper, a heavy-duty tissue paper or rice paper, and I just use old cardboard, and I'm going to take our cardboard and I'm going to secure it, and I'm going to take our watercolor paper and I'm going to secure it to our cardboard. And I'm going to cut a piece of the copy paper and do the same. Try really hard just to get the edges, because where the tape is, it's going to resist any of the colorants that you want to use. Some other colorants, if you don't have a lot of paints in your home, but you are a baker or you like to cook and you have food coloring or Kool-Aid, you can use those as well as colorants. It will give you more of a watercolor effect, but that works quite well. It'll be a soft effect that you will receive if you use food coloring or Kool-Aid. Okay. See how we have it nice and secured? Get my tray out. Oh, you know what else I need before I do that? I want to protect my surface. We are filming this not in my studio, but in my husband's studio. So I want to be tidy. All artists, we want to be tidy. We want to be very, very careful and respectful of other people's space. All right. Now, what color do I want? Let's try this mint green. So our first color and our primary color that you're going to be using for your, this is like a marbling, like a mock marbling effect on the watercolor paper. I'm just going to, first I'm going to need to shake it. Make sure that all of the pigment is dispersed. And see how I'm just pouring it on. No special way. What I love about this, there's really no terribly wrong way of going about it. Then I believe I want to add some green. And I'm just going to run it the opposite way. So see what I have going on now? Where it's just blobs. And then I'm going to add some of the purple for a really good contrast. Now, the fun part. Shake, rattle, and roll. Just very gently. When you see it moving, especially if it's moving over in the tape area, you want to turn it. This is going to give you a very organic flavor. See what's happening down here where it's marbleizing? That's what we want to try for. Sometimes you have to add a little bit more paint where you see that it's not shaking so well down in those areas. Unless you feel that the white would be a very happy place for your idea. Here we go. Now that's happening. And this is where our toothpick comes in. You can take your toothpick and help it along. Never mind the scratch marks, because when we stir it and when we shake it, they will disperse. See how I'm just helping it? Helping with the blending of the colors. Okay, back to, and you see how that got rid of all those scratch marks from the toothpick tip. Now we want to just sit that off to the side and allow it to dry. Now we're going to do the same thing to this one. I'm just going to show you very quickly what can happen. I'm going to use darker teal this time. And again, there's no right or wrong, because we're going to be using small bits of this paper. And then we're going to shake, rattle, and roll. Let's see how it's becoming marbleizing, marbleizing, marbleizing. Now, get another piece. This is our copy paper, and I'm just going to lay it gently on top. Rub it just very lightly and lift. You see how it drags it, and it gives it a little more subtle effect than we have over here. So that's just another option, and you can also take this and you can use the colors that, and look, some really exciting things have taken place. And again, we're going to be using small bits to create and decorate our surface. So even a small bit of interesting coloration will really help your pieces to pop. So that was the marbleization of our watercolor paper. And now I'm going to take you and we're going to do a little bit of tie-dye paper. Again, hand-colored. I am a fiber artist, so, I do a lot of silk tie-dye scarves. But this is using paper instead of fabric. This is using paper instead of fabric. So we want to create a color bath. And I am going to use this green. I really do like green. In the springtime, I love counting all the different greens that I see popping and emerging all over the place. Not too much water, and I'm not sure if I put water down on our supply list, but we do need to have some water for this part of our project, because this is setting us up for success for the other 4 sessions. skewer, use it. You don't really want to use your finger because then you would have a little mess on your hands, and you don't want to pre-color your paper. So whatever the lightest color that you're going to use, that's what you should do first. With any type of dye bath, I always do the light colors first and then bring in the darker colors. Well, we want to fold our paper in various ways. Again, you can do the square, you can do like a star. So see how I just took our 8 by 11 sheet of copy paper, just ordinary copy paper, and I'm folding it. And I think I'll just leave it like that because this way, and I'm just going to dunk. Shake off any excess. And open. Very carefully open. Wet paper is very fragile. There is another opening. There we go. I have it. Oh, see? See how fragile it can become? So we just want to leave that there. Pour our excess back in our yogurt cup. And let me get a towel. Let me get a towel. And I'm just going to wipe off that green. I think we're going to go with the deep turquoise. And the same way that we did the light green, add a little bit of the pigment into the cup, a dollop of water, probably 2 tablespoons, not much. And then stir. And stir. Then we're going to pour it into our tray. And now we get to decide, how do we want to fold it? Do we want to fold it the same way? And yes, I am going to fold it the same way. Except I'm going to turn this white area in, and I'm going to fold it the same way. But I'm going to let the white area be on the outside this time. And I'm going to give it an extra fold. So here we go. I love this because this is so organic. We really don't know what we're going to get, what the results are going to be. And I think I'm just going to dip a little bit of it in. Shake. And open. Ooh, how fun is that? Careful. And then open. All right. Woo! How fun. Can we see that? Try to gently. Now, when it dries, it will be a shade lighter. Pour that back in. Get some of the mess out. And I love this part. I feel like a 1960 cook. You know, the TV cook shows. Because here are some of the pieces. The marbling watercolor, nice and dry. Did not use painter's tape. And you see, it just adheres a little bit too strongly for my liking. Once it's dry, you can pop it off of the cardboard. Remove the tape. See, now you're seeing why I say painter's tape is the way to go. I always keep rolls of it in my studio because it does come in handy for numerous projects. So that's the marbling. And this is the tie-dye. Look how soft. And you get a lot of variation going on here. Just another way. And just like with fabric, paper, when it's yours, when you have created the raw paper in your studio, in your home, it brings a special life to your piece. And I just encourage you to play around using these ideas. You can take an eyedropper and you can just drop in pigment on paper. That works well. This construction paper, I wanted orange for the background of my piece. I wanted orange there, but I wanted just a little bit of variation. So I took my regular orange construction paper, took my tea bag, and I gave it a wash with the tea to just give it some uniqueness. And then I thought, I have some copper acrylic paint. And I took the sponge treatment, and I took that same orange that was tea washed, and I dabbed it in copper acrylic and just dabbed it. Didn't take the straight paint like I did with the red on this watercolor paper with a brush, but I used my sponge to give it a little bit of decoration, a little bit of variation, a little bit of glitz. You have to look closely, but it's there, very subtle. And that's what I use. So you can play around and do all kinds of wonderful treatments to various paper, even printed paper. You can take newspaper and you can give it a wash of color and just have that print, but there might be a very subtle wash of color, of whatever color you want to use. So that was our project today. We are going to build on it for our various other 4 sessions, because these papers will be very precious to us with our motifs and with us building our paper mosaic.